I'm here to stand in solidarity with all of the survivors of Diddy and for the agenda for cruelty-free artistry to be something real. There's too much pain. There's been too many victims. There's too many survivors.
They're speaking for the victims except for the prosecution. I was the only one there to stand in solidarity other than the prosecution. Looking around at all the YouTubers interloping, begging, waiting in line to get into the court so that they could gossip, or should I say, misinform the public of what's real. Thank God for court transcripts, because I can honestly say that there would be 80 million remixes if it wasn't for that. I had to be there. And not just that, I was there as a reporter myself, as a journalist myself. I needed to be there to document that first day. It's one of the most important parts of my journey for cruelty free. But I wanted to be there and make prayer before everybody got there. And just reach out to the prosecutor as they came up and let them know. You have platforms that are backing you. We're praying for your success. And that moment with her was awesome. I prayed for her. I prayed for her safety. She told me that she does the same for me. And I asked her the most important question there was to ask: are you ready? She looked me in my face. I called her on a bluff, and she said, "We're ready."
Jaguar Wright recently opened up in a way that has everyone talking. With a calm and steady voice, she shared personal experiences that brought Diddy's name into the spotlight. She talked about the pressure behind the scenes in the entertainment world and how difficult it is for artists to speak honestly. Her words weren't aggressive, they were thoughtful but deeply unsettling. She suggested that many stories the public sees are only part of a much bigger picture. Viewers could sense the emotion behind her words, and her message was clear. There's more going on than meets the eye. Jaguar didn't point fingers. She simply shared what she felt needed to be said.
I've already spoken on it. That's the thing. Anything that's about to be said in that courtroom, I've already spoke about at length here on this couch. Are they saying anything different than I've already said that they be doing?
Yeah, you're right. You're on it.
How many times have I said, this kata is wakil? They wakil. And everybody knew about it. I could have sworn to God I said that 1,000,000 times. Everyone knew. Everyone. So no, I'm not surprised at anything he had to say. I'm not surprised at anything that Cassie is saying right now. What I do find interesting is that everyone is acting so surprised. What will I say about what he said? I think he's telling the absolute truth. Like when the opening statements in the defendant's case start as, well, my client has drug addiction and he suffers from jealous primal rage. I mean, yeah, he did these things, but it really wasn't that bad. Everybody loved him, and they wanted to be loved by him in the manner in which he likes loving people. What did I say about R. Kelly? Do y'all remember that? The first time we did the blue couch, after the chair, when it went from the light wall to the couch with a light on it. I'm just saying.
Yeah.
Love and year. Love it, yeah. How is this any different? Is nobody realizing that a lot of the testimony that we're hearing against the diddler right now, very similar to the things that people were saying about R. Kelly?
Yes.
Why is nobody paying attention to that? Why does no one want to look
Jaguar described the entertainment world as a place filled with carefully managed images. According to her, what fans see online or on stage often hides the stress and struggles that artists face. She brought up Diddy as someone who's been part of that system for decades, suggesting there are layers of influence that most people don't see. Her tone wasn't angry, it was reflective, like someone finally telling their truth. She said that silence has become normal in the industry, and that's what gives certain people more control. Jaguar's words encouraged people to look deeper into the stories they follow. She's not accusing, she's asking questions and starting conversations.
Everybody plays games. Let's not act like that's not real. When a dirty old man comes at you, do you think that little white girl, the 25 grand a cheap girl, meant half of the stuff that she was saying to Shannon Sharp? Of course not.
All of this shows that Sean Combs is a terrible guy, but it doesn't amount to RICO. I am one of the people who argues and debates that a lot of this shows RICO. And, Kid Cudi seemed to have a lot of stories that matched up with the predicate acts to RICO. Did you agree or disagree?
Did it? Heck yes, we think he did it. But I don't know if that's enough to prove arson as one of those crimes that they've alleged was part of.
Jaguar revealed that coming forward wasn't easy. She explained that sharing her experiences took time, thought, and a lot of emotional strength. In her own words, it's not about blame, it's about healing. She said that for years she kept quiet because she didn't feel safe enough to speak honestly. Now she's found the strength to open up, not to target anyone, but to shed light on how the industry works behind closed doors. Her message is one of personal growth and honesty. She reminded viewers that it's okay to ask hard questions and share your journey, even when it's difficult.
Telling people not to care about her baby. He said Mary Magdalene was a whore. And he compared her like, and y'all better not be affected by that baby bump. Whores have babies too. Who says that?
Wow.
Talking about he knows where her family is from because he's from New London, Connecticut. And everyone wants to keep barreling down on Ryan Leslie. It's funny. I talked about the whole Ryan Leslie connection. Ryan loved Cassie, bragged about her. Cassie just testified. She has tattoos on her body from Ryan Leslie. But nobody ever talks about how that relationship ended and how her relationship with Diddy began. Ryan was blowing up. And after him and Cassie separated, gone. I wonder why. If Diddy has ran around and threatened every other man that was interested in Cassie while he was busy her, neglecting her, confusing her, why wouldn't we think that he put the moves on Ryan Leslie? I thought it was interesting when he did Drink Champs, because he just recently, not that long ago, did a Drink Champ interview with Nori and them over on the Peer Pressure podcast. I was shocked to see that. I didn't understand the relevance. I didn't understand why he would do anything for a network that was affiliated with Diddy. I didn't get it. Didn't make any sense to me. Not at all. But what I do know is this. Diddy has a history of bullying women into relationships with him and bullying men away from the women that he desires to possess.
When Jaguar talked about private industry gatherings, her words caught everyone's attention. She said that some of those events felt less like parties and more like carefully controlled spaces where people were expected to act a certain way. She didn't share specific details, but her facial expression said enough. These weren't ordinary experiences. Jaguar emphasized that these moments stayed with her for years. She spoke carefully, but it was clear that she wanted people to understand the emotional weight of what she had seen. Her comments have led many to question how much of the entertainment world is shaped by image versus truth.
Scenes with Cassie under the direction of Sean Combs, and then Diddy's former assistant who testified to seeing Combs another girlfriend. Which one of these three men do you think potentially had the most impact?
I actually think it's Kid Cudi, and that's because the things that he is testifying to brings us outside of the realm of domestic violence and these kind of crimes that we've been hearing a lot about. Remember, in a racketeering case, they have to show a criminal enterprise and these ongoing criminal predicate acts that we refer to them as. Something like arson, something like that car bombing that Kid Cudi testified to, the break-in, residential burglary, all of those things start to paint the picture that this is far more than just a incredibly jealous or a man, that this is someone who is willing to extend beyond that and commit crimes, and that I think is really moving the needle as far as the racketeering charges go. All of this kind of fits into that overall scheme of a criminal enterprise, but I think when the government starts to extend beyond the freak-offs and beyond the they start to paint a fuller picture for the jury of just really how this person operated.
Jaguar suggested that one reason so many artists stay quiet is because of a culture built around control. She claimed that people in powerful positions often keep records or use influence to protect themselves. While she didn't accuse anyone directly, she hinted that this is one way the system keeps itself in place. She said many artists feel stuck. They want to speak but worry about losing opportunities. Jaguar explained that speaking out comes with risks, but she believes it's worth it to protect future generations of artists. Her story has opened up a larger discussion about how influence and loyalty work behind the scenes.
And don't nobody ever figure he needs to be subpoenaed for any of it. If we go back and we think about things that he said before Cassie filed the lawsuit, right before Cassie filed the lawsuit, he was talking about how Diddy used to send videos of Cassie getting partied on, getting freaked off on. And he said he called me and he said, "Hey, have you seen this? I thought this was your girl. I thought you loved her." "Oh yeah, she loves it. She loves it. Whoopty whoopty woo, yada yada yada." That was evidence of a freak off that he had footage of. Why was that not subpoenaed? And if he knows so much, why isn't he a material witness? I don't get it. Everybody's so interested in hauling me off the court to force me on the stand to do this and to do that. But this man is sitting over here, he's been dry snitching for almost 2 years straight. And he's not a witness? Why not? If you have knowledge that the Jigga Man helped the diddler boom boom Kid Cudi's car because he didn't want his property messed with, which was Cassie, why ain't nobody asking him to come testify about it? Why is he not being called in? Like all of this, I'm going to sit on Instagram and I'm going to just shoot a shot and I'm going to do this and then I'm going to sit back and watch. And please. This is serious. People have been hurt. People have been destroyed. Now you just want to be the lineup King Curtis, huh? How about we line you up everything you did with Soulja Boy? Who is that? Being used as a dog whistle against DDG. All of this is getting real suspicious.
The connection to Diddy, and indeed another A-list name, Will Smith, allegedly came through what was packaged as a mentorship program. When Bryce was just 17 years old,
Jaguar brought up a pattern that made her reflect on past events. She mentioned several artists whose careers ended suddenly or who went through emotional hardships, saying they all had some connection to the same circles. She didn't make any direct claims, but she said there were too many coincidences to ignore. Her goal wasn't to scare anyone, it was to ask people to think critically. Fans began revisiting old headlines and interviews, wondering if there was more going on. Jaguar's message was simple: pay attention because patterns don't lie. Her reflections were thoughtful, not harsh, but they certainly sparked conversation.
You know, for Cassie to take the stand, and mind you, there's no cameras in court. For Cassie going up there pregnant, almost due, for the optics of that, uh, how do you feel? Just, you personally, the optics of hearing about freak offs, hearing about these things that happened, years ago, and seeing her there because her husband is there too, and I believe he stormed off as well because she has children and now she's pregnant. The optic of seeing her up there,
being treated like a worker,
yeah,
being disrespected, all of the things. God bless Alex Fine. God bless Mr. Fine. Nobody has really thought about what this must be like for him. The second that him and Cassie pulled up in New York, they already had YouTubers, like ex-bad boy cheerleaders, who still bragging about being loyal to the dip, calling her a whore, telling people not to care about her baby. He said Mary Magdalene was a whore, and he compared her like, and y'all better not be affected by that baby bump. Whores have babies too. Who says that?
wow.
Talking about he knows where her family is from because he's from New London, Connecticut. And everyone wants to keep barreling down on Ryan Leslie. It's funny. I've talked about the whole Ryan Leslie connection. Ryan loved Cassie, bragged about it. Cassie just testified. She has tattoos on her body from Ryan Leslie. But nobody ever talks about how that relationship ended and how her relationship with Diddy began.
Jaguar spoke about how the media handles stories like hers. She said major outlets rarely cover these types of experiences because they're too complex or involve powerful people. She believes that many important stories get pushed aside in favor of entertainment gossip. Jaguar explained that some topics are seen as off-limits, especially if they challenge big names or brands. Her comments weren't just about Diddy, they were about the entire structure of fame and media. She encouraged her viewers to support honest voices, even when the message is uncomfortable. "You don't have to agree with me," she said, "but you should hear me out."
Obviously, for what I spoke my truth, you heard me on all the dialogue, but he actually looked at me in disappointment. You heard me? He looked at me like I have no right to be up there. He looked at me like he was like, I don't know. It was eerie. It was like, how could you do this to me? But deep down, I looked at him like, how could you do this to me? You understand? Like the life that I had to live, from you doing bad business with me, and I done everything right. You heard me with the bad boy situation, the songs that you stole from me, from the Khalees, not Milkshake B, but Bossy B, to all that that I've done behind the scenes and on the scenes that you took from me and give me nothing. You gave me nothing. You left me to be down here in New Orleans, Louisiana, especially during Katrina, when I had to give my savings to my family. Be honest with you, from the Bad Boy South situation, I signed a $500,000 deal. Uncle Sam took practically 190 of that, left me with practically at least 300 and some thousand. When Diddy said me, because I wasn't trying to be on the road with him or be on the road at all to promote my album, courtesy of Katrina, because no one from outside of New Orleans understood the detrimental situation that has occurred to us. I didn't even understand it. You dig? I'm not used to a Category 5 hurricane. When hurricanes come here, It be category 3, 2, like that there. You know, it's that you can manage. You understand? I didn't understand the detrimental situation that was going to occur, and he didn't either. So I could understand why he probably was like, get back on the road. You did, but I couldn't get back on the road. So I gave most of all my money to my family. After I asked this man, say, bruh, you owe me another 500,000. I signed $1 million deal. Give me the other 500,000 or at least a portion of that so I can make sure my people straight to get.
Jaguar didn't just speak her truth. She also asked why others haven't. She said that many people in the industry know what goes on but choose to stay silent to protect their careers. She called that silence heavy and said it adds to the pressure for those who want to be honest. Without blaming anyone directly, Jaguar explained that fear and silence often go hand in hand. She asked her peers to think about what really matters, truth or reputation. Her message was more about unity than criticism. She wants to create a space where people feel supported to speak, not judged.
Bittersweet situation, bruh. Bitter because of the things that transpired with me in the bad boy situation with Diddy and how it went down. That wasn't right on my end, as well as it wasn't right on his end. I'm not going to be biased and just straight blame him for all the things that transpired, but I 100% can say that he's responsible for a lot of things that I wasn't able to do with my career moving forward. So when I went to the courtroom, it was packed. I'm not even going to lie to you, brother. It was packed. It was pandemonium. People were happy to see me. I ain't gonna lie, I was low key though. I was low key, but I took my hoodie off. I went in there, because it's a public, whatever you dig. Anybody can practically go in there, kind of. So I went in there, and people knew my face. And the first person I seen was Cassie. I seen Cassie. She gave me a little smirk on her face. I knew what the smirk was. The smirk was like, wow, chops here, right? And she was kind of happy to see me. Then I look over to my left and I see the whole Combs family. I seen Janice, his chairman was there. The twin girls was there. His other daughter was there. All the little cornballs, his little sons was there. You dig? And they gave me the most meanest mug in the world. Right. and Diddy come out, right? And Diddy looked like he about a good 99 years old, but he still had a great, characteristical attitude with himself. Meaning I can tell, you heard me, that he's keeping his head up in there, even though it's so hard for him. I can tell that it's hard for him by me going through that situation a couple years ago. But I can also tell that he's keeping his head up. Maybe not for the situation, bruh, but most definitely for his family. He stands strong.
Argument that, hey, she was voluntarily in a relationship and you didn't help get her out. But I like that you use the word allow, because that's what the prosecution is really trying to hook onto. They're trying to hook onto the idea that there was no allowing because the tentacles were so deep into Cassie, the coercion was so strong, it was almost as if she wasn't able to get out. Now, I know people are going to hear that and say, look, she had free will. She was in this relationship for so long. There were many things she could have done. Absolutely. But I think part of what what the prosecution is trying to show here with is the coercion can be so strong. The elements of bringing somebody in, having them used for a commercial act, and then using force, coercion, threats, things like that to keep them in the activity makes it hard for the person to get out. You've heard people talk about how Cassie said, hey, everything I have is tied into this in many ways. I'm paraphrasing. But when you have that kind of situation, the allowing part goes away. And for the prosecution, it's about proving it wasn't about allowing. She could not get out of this thing because of the criminal enterprise that.
Jaguar made it clear that she didn't come forward for attention. This isn't about being loud, she said. It's about being real. She talked about how important it is to heal from past experiences and not let fear keep people quiet. Jaguar said her journey has been long and emotional, but she's finally at a point where she can speak freely. She isn't trying to hurt anyone, she's trying to protect her own peace. Her words were honest and calm, and they carried a message of personal freedom. She encouraged others to look at their own truth, even if it's uncomfortable.
I'm happy that he's getting a chance to speak. I'm happy.
Definitely.
And I'm happy that he's there so that he can give accurate accounts from Kim. Because the truth is, if Kim Porter was still alive, she would be the star.
Oh, this is the lifestyle that Diddy lived. You know, he had parties. A-listers were at his parties. He was very well known. He had money. There's a charisma to him. He's the life of the party, right? He attracts people to him. We talked about this on the network. You don't become this larger than life mogul by not having some kind of charisma to you, people skills. So people of A-list stature were constantly around, and we're learning from the trial that they witnessed but from what we're hearing, and to your point, they weren't necessarily a part of these parties, which is the freak offs that lasted, some of them up to 4 days, according to Cassie's testimony. What artist in their prime has 4 days to be locked up in a hotel, participating in a freak off? Certainly not Britney Spears, I'll tell you that. So it's one of those things where he was around a lot of artists, a lot of A-listers and celebrities, but a lot of them, from, what I suspect, were not a part of these freak offs. They might have maybe been aware of them or heard about them, but in terms of participation, we haven't seen one celebrity say, I've participated in a freak off. I don't think we're ever going to hear that.
So far, Diddy has not responded to Jaguar's comments. But Jaguar says she didn't speak up to get a reaction. She spoke up because she's ready to move forward. She said she's not afraid anymore and that telling her story was a way to take her power back. I've done my part, she said. Now the world can decide what to do with it. Her message to viewers was simple. Everyone deserves the chance to speak their truth. Whether people agree or not, she's standing firm in her story. And for many, that strength is what's most inspiring of all.
Were you surprised about anything that came in?
No.
Wow. So
nobody else should have been either, young Jock. You Diddy do-wop bop you. Yeah. Because you told the truth, Jock. And then after Diddy called you, you went back and tried to clean it up. But your all about is off the Stevie J. Diddy do-wop bop.
Do you feel like that's the reason why this beef, that Stevie J stands where he stands between the beef with 50 Cent and Diddy?
I don't know where Stevie J stands. I only know Stevie J sitting on a drum set. I don't know where he stands.
Man.
I know what he stand up in, and I know what done stood up in him. Take that.
So wait, so when you heard...
I can't stand these, like, for real. Like, I'm just tired. Let's keep... And your little dog, too. And congratulations, Young Miami. Run as fast as Cassie did. That fucker. I'm sorry, I'm a little upset about it, because Al B. Sure just came out of his coma, and I've been talking to Al, and we've been texting back and forth, and I'm just glad that he's alive to text.
Oh, wow. Definitely.
Yeah, but when you think about Kim, I was thinking to myself the other day, Uptown Records started with 5 people. Andre Harrell, Al B. Sure, Heavy D, and Puffy. And Kim was the longest working employee because she was there from the very beginning. She was Andre's personal assistant. Kim is dead. Heavy D is dead. Andre Harrell is dead. The only 2 left are Puffy and Al almost died. Isn't that interesting?
That is interesting.
Heavy D was found dead, face down in the heart attack. Andre Harrell, heart attack. Kim died from pneumonia, but there's the first coroner's report that said that she died. It was ruled a homicide, and they found toxins in her body to prove that she had been poisoned. They have poisons that create heart attack and pneumonia-like symptoms. And then right after that, Al had a meeting, and I was going to meet up with him because we were in Vegas, and then the next thing you know, you want to know what they all had in common, though? The survivors and the late of Uptown Records, they were all writing tell-all books. Mm-hmm. Andre was writing a book right before he died. Heavy D was working on a book before he died. Kim Porter was working on a book before she died. And Al B. Sure was working on the documentary of his life. And then he goes into a coma. Has Puffy ever been in a coma? Has anything happened to him? He must be the luckiest motherfucker, because it seems like everybody that worked at Uptown Records from the very beginning is all gone. Just him. I guess Al disappointed you. You know, I speak for Rihanna to choreograph people to do whatever he wanted them to do, and that's his greatness.
Duplicitous manner. No, that's a skill.
Very
that's
duplicitous.
That's a skill. That's an art.
To choreograph human beings to know for a fact that they're going to do whatever you say, because that's how terrible you are.
So today we're playing a game called One Gotta Go. Basically, I'm going to put up a list. It might be 4, it might be 2, it might be 3. But the goal is I'm going to explain who they are. So let me say who they are.
I feel like I need to get comfortable.
Oh, yeah, please get comfortable. Please get comfortable. We having a conversation.
Y'all know they hate it when I do my yoga.
Yeah, hey, this right here is...
They can't stand to see an old bitch fold up.
This is living room talk right here. This is living room talk right here.
Yeah.
Basically, as we speak on it, I want you to not only say which one gotta go, but why they gotta go.
Okay.
And why the other one gotta stay.
So basically just be myself and answer honestly?
Answer honestly. Okay. Answer honestly. And we're gonna go for the juggler. So OD, and shout out OD in the building.
OD!
Shout out OD in the building. We have Terrence Gangsta Williams.
We gotta have
and we got Terrence Gangsta Williams in the house, behind the scenes. And it's a situation. It's a situation.
It's so good to see him in the flesh.
No, when he said, I said, Jack's here. I'm glad he called and said, man, let me know when Jack's there.
I hated I missed that party.
Oh, man.
But you know, it could have been worse. My car could have got blown up. Oh, no, that happened the next month.
Oh. We're gonna come right back to that. All right, so let's do it like this, man. This show is called One Gotta Go. And OD, go and kick us off with the first list, man. Go and throw it on the screen if you can. Oh. So we have Diddy, Jigga Man, 50 Cent, and Dr. Dre. Now
who apparently has become a real doctor, and they put his name on an award and gave it to Basquiat.
Yeah, a real doctor.
Because Basquiat, he is not.
Basquiat, got it. So no, think about it like this, Jack. One gotta go.
Jay-Z.
In all their music, all their businesses, all their works, all their endorsement
Jay-Z.
deals. So quick, why Jay-Z?
Jay-Z. Because he's the only one on that list that didn't earn any of his accomplishments.
Now, you did.
Dr. Dre is undeniable as a producer. 50 Cent is undeniable. He wanted them to do, and that's his greatness.
Duplicitous manner. No, that's a skill.
Very duplicitous.
That's a skill. That's an art.
To choreograph human beings to know for a fact that they're going to do whatever the fuck you say, because that's how terrible you are.
Yeah, they say...
so imagine what it was like for him when he realized Cassie wasn't going to back down. That's why he settled so fast. He didn't think she was going to go through it.
Who do you respect more, the man that goes to get the water for the village, or the man who convinces the whole village to go get it for themselves and bring it to him?
The latter.
Hey.
Yeah.
Hey. So wait, on our interview, you said Jay-Z's Reasonable Doubt was work of art.
One of my favorites.
So that means you're saying that doesn't exist. You're good with that?
I'm saying that whatever he was pretending to be was extremely authentic in that moment. But the reason why was because his muse was Dee Haven. So the only thing he was doing was mimicking in written word what he was stealing from his so-called best friend. And then he convinced that same friend to take a charge for him that would have definitely changed the course of who he became, promising to look out, take care of, and make sure that the balance of power would be restored upon his return. And then the nigga stopped answering his phone calls and told his mom to fuck off.
So let me ask you,
he stole his life.
we have Terrence Ganks in the building, right?
Yeah.
He's one of the original Hot Boys to where they made a whole record label based on some of the actions in life
One
that
of
he was
the
living.
best independents to go major, one of the best that ever did it. Salute.
So if someone else mimics or talks about someone else's life that they've seen, do you look at them any
You
less?
mean like Rose? Jack and Freeway Ricky whole existence?
Rose ain't on the list, man. Goddamn, you gonna throw Rose catch a stray?
He can put it on there. Put it on there.
Okay. Yeah, like Rose
that folded over bitch.
He gets inspired by what someone else.
Yeah, he was so inspired he pretended to be that nigga until somebody called him on his fake ass G. And then he went running around looking like a Buddha with his shirt off, beating on little bitches, singing about pass me the sage. I don't get it.
God. Damn, okay.
Like that's the kind of trauma your penis induces, that a bitch is begging for sage after being with you.
God damn. Oh, man. Okay. We're going to come back to that. We're going.
I'm sorry.